176,000 veterans in New Mexico, and more than 16,000 are women. In fact, women are the fastest growing segment of the veteran population, and many of them aren't taking advantage of the programs and services available to them. Pat Gaston, president of Women Veterans of New Mexico, joins us this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Glad to have you here. We have lots to talk about. First, I did want to ask you really quick, why aren't women taking advantage of the programs?
Well, you know, that's a very good question. A lot of women, when they come back, they fall back into their roles of head of household, that's taking care of parents, that's taking care of kids, that's taking care of kids and husbands, and they don't think about themselves. And they become, as women, we take care and nurture everyone else, and we always put ourselves second,
and that's
we don't think about ourselves.
And the reason for having you on this morning is you're trying to do something about that, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But let's go back and kind of talk about the history of all this. 15% of the active duty force are women, and this number could grow to 20% within 5 years. So let's talk about that and when the military actually first opened up to women to begin with.
Well, women have been in the service for actually longer than they opened up. Women dressed as men back in the turn of the century. They either did it to serve with their husbands on the front line, or they did it to have a job. But they've been around a lot longer than they've been recognized as being on the field. Since the Civil War, they've been around. And beforehand. They opened it up kind of in World War II mainly because all the servicemen were overseas and they needed people to do jobs, so they opened it up to women.
Right.
So they needed folks to fill those positions.
Okay, and now, and at what point were they given more responsibility on the field? Of course, they were already doing a lot early on.
They were definitely doing a lot early on, and when they opened it up, they really didn't even open it up as far as positions. They they as auxiliary, and so they didn't get the benefits or anything else that the military men did, and they originally opened up to nurses and clerks and things like that as far as official jobs in the service.
And now, you know, of course, you're doing everything the men are doing, of course, now.
Exactly. Fighter pilots, everything. MPs, leading convoys, everything.
Wow. And then there we go. We have a fighter pilot there, and also some other pictures. So it's just great to see women working hard and standing up there right next to the men and doing the stuff that men do.
That's it.
Now, studies do show that women run twice the risk of suffering from battle stress and developing post-traumatic stress disorder than their male counterparts. Are the symptoms and treatment different from male soldiers?
The treatment's probably not different. The symptoms are different.
They are.
Because there again, men and women are reared differently. Women are geared to keep their emotions down. They're not, you know, we're not supposed to have outbursts. Men will have outbursts all the time, and that's expected. Women tend to keep it down, and they stuff it down, which is even worse. So it might present itself differently than with men.
Right, so then I'm sure the treatment's probably a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Okay, and we've also learned that more women veterans are being treated for cases of military sexual trauma as a result of being harassed by male soldiers. Are more women coming forward to report the harassment?
More women are coming forward. Not only is harassment, it's actual physical assault is happening, and more women are coming forward with that, thank goodness. And getting treatment for it, because it is such a taboo that women became victims twice. If they reported it, then they were treated like piranhas and nobody would talk to them, and they were the ones who got transferred, or they were the ones that were considered the problem. So they are coming more forward now that it's more out there, and they're publicizing a little bit more.
Is that issue getting better? I mean, we're in 2011 right now. You know, times have changed. Is it getting better?
You know, I hate to say the advertisement, they're putting it out there more often, but I hate to say that, you know, even with women PTSD, when they get rated for their service, they're getting rated lower than men because they still consider men were the ones busting down doors, so their PTSD is worth more than a woman's. So a lot of women will go in with try to get compensated for their benefits, and it's a lot less than their men counterparts. There again, because most of the people rating are men, and so they don't see women on the front line. They don't see them as helicopter pilots. They don't see them as leading convoys, seeing people get killed right beside them, getting shot at all the time. They don't see that. They only see the men's, and that's what we want to do is focus people. Remember, when you think of a veteran, think of the women as well, not just males. They're facing, there is no front line. So women are exposed to the same dangers as men are exposed to.
Absolutely, and we're so glad that you're going to be here and kind of getting that word out. Now, many women serving in the military, of course, are moms. How do they cope with being away from their children?
Oh, that's probably the hardest part, because they can go, after having a child, you can go right back overseas after 3 months, and then to come back and readjust to your child and your child to you, who doesn't even know you. You left when they were an infant. So that readjustment period is very hard, and for them to come back is a really hard adjustment.
And do you guys have programs to kind of help with that
There are
adjustment?
programs. They have all sorts of video that they can do now, so they can read to their kids at night. They have all sorts of programs where they can go on base. If whatever spouse or grandparent is still there, they can go on bases, and they can actually see their kids through video and actually have conversations, so they don't lose total connection anymore. Where it used to be you didn't see them at all. Now at least you can see them face to face, where you get lots of phone calls and things like that.
Well, and that's so important, because the bond between a mother and her child is the strongest bond there is.
It is.
And it's good to hear that there are programs to kind of help keep that there.
It is.
Because I know that could be tough. Now, the unemployment rate is high among female vets, but the Veterans Business Outreach Center actually assists veterans starting or expanding a small business. So can you tell us a little bit about that program a little?
They're doing a great job on that. They just had a conference, the first conference for women veterans only, and concentrating on women coming back, because they are losing, when they come back, they don't have jobs, and if they want to start their own job, they will help them start with a business plan. They will talk them through the finances of starting a business. They'll walk them through the whole process. So that's really, really a great benefit. It's a great service.
And we of course want to get the women, we want to get all the vets jobs when they get back, because they've done such a great service for our country, for all of us. So that definitely high on the priority list. And of course, again, we have you here today. This is why you're hosting the Women Veterans Conference and Health Fair in Albuquerque this Saturday at the Crown Plaza Hotel. So can you tell us a little bit? We have some information on the screen, but can you tell us a little bit about the events?
A little bit about the event. We want all the women to show up. It is free. For those women who are traveling outside of Albuquerque, 60 miles, we do have some rooms available so that they can come in Friday night and be there on Saturday morning. So it's statewide. And what we're talking about is benefits and things that they earned, and then we're going to actually have people there who can help them with their claims and benefits and talk about physical health and mental health.
Well, great. Hopefully we can get a great turnout there. Thank you so much, Pat. We definitely want to get more women involved in those programs.
We do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, have you ever seen the look on a child's face who is hearing for the very first time? Well, you're going to want to grab your box of tissues, because we're going to show you. That's coming up next.
He's hearing his voice for the first time.